Super Vegito Buu Saga versus Base Goku Adult GT. So we came across this post online, and shout out to whoever created this post. Well, I don't know who created it, but if you could find the person, give them credit to this post off of Facebook, that would be greatly appreciated. But as we're gonna give this take, there's three ways we can tackle this, because the first one is when it comes to base Goku adult and GT. We only seen adult Goku and GT two times, and that was at the beginning of the series and at the end of the series after the 100 years. So, and also if you want to count the hero's legacy, which is also 100 years, expounding upon that point. So pretty much we only seen Goku as an adult in his base form two times, in the beginning and the end. So those are the two different takes of power that we're going to have to look at. Now, other hypothetical is the hypothetical of how powerful Goku would be throughout GT if he was an adult and was never turned into a kid. That's like a third hypothetical. But we're going to start with the beginning. So we got Super Vegito Buu Saga. So we're going to go with base Goku as an adult in GT at the beginning of GT. Now, this is a Goku from the Buu Saga who's been training for 15 years, because there was a 10-year time skip in Z and another 5 years that he left to go train with Oob. So now, as we look at Goku, and there's also the possibility that when we're comparing Kid Goku's power in GT compared to adult Goku, like I said, we don't know if he was nerfed or not. At the time, there was no, statements or anything saying that his power was, kind of nerfed and everything, compared to Daima showing a better version. And Daima, we just thought Goku had trouble just getting adjusted to his kid body, but didn't have like a lack of stamina or power. But we always kind of just suggested that, and in Daima they kind of proved that. But we didn't know how nerfed Goku was in Daima until he became an adult. Him and Vegeta became an adult, and we seen their performance as an adult versus Goma, and that showed just clearly how much nerfed they were. So if that case still applies, which it should still apply when it comes down to that of GT, if we're comparing the Dragon, where the Dragon Balls in GT are much more stronger than the one on Earth, so it should still apply. Now, technically, we're going to look at a base Goku. So now, at the beginning of GT, we do know when Goku fights against Will, though, he's comparing him to pretty much Buu, which most likely could be Kid Buu, and Goku training with Oob around all this time and pretty much have an idea of where Kid Buu's power was. Probably not Buuhan, but most likely probably Kid Buu, because that was the Buu that Goku really fought. So it probably would be Kid Buu power. And Goku's pretty much dominating Will, though, once he turns Super Saiyan, and that's this Goku as a child turning Super Saiyan. So now we got an adult Goku, just roughly showing that Goku as an adult could be some way stronger than that of Kid Buu in his base form, and definitely clearly would be clear Kid Buu if he was to fight him as a Super Saiyan. Now we got Super Vegito in the Buu Saga. Now the thing is, when we look at Super Vegito in the anime version and manga version, there was no base Vegito fight in the manga. He went straight to Super Saiyan in the manga version of him versus Buuhan. So in the anime, we got to see him kind of like toy around with Buuhan in his base form, and then later becoming Super Vegito once Buu started to go crazy and he transformed. But pretty much at this point, Super Vegito, we know Vegito was toying with Buu the whole time during their matchup and wasn't trying to finish him off. And this is a Buuhan at this point who was way stronger than, Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Ultimate Gohan and everything that we've seen up to that point. So the thing is, when we're trying to compare Vegito, it's kind of hard because we never got to see him at full power, and we know he's definitely not at full power just from the facts of his Super Saiyan levels. If he's using just regular Super Saiyan 1 and he didn't even have to use Super Saiyan 2 against Buuhan, or even use Super Saiyan 3, because he can turn Super Saiyan 3 if he wants to, and he didn't even have to use that, and he was toying around with him as a Super Saiyan. This just goes to show you just how much more powerful. Now, the GT Perfect Files states that Super Saiyan 4 Goku could be comparable to that of Super Vegito. And I think that's false, because clearly, if we got Goku as a kid, and even suggestions showing that Super Saiyan 4 Goku is above that of a Super Saiyan 3 Vegito, and big possibility that he definitely is, because like I said, we're not comparing a Goku from the Buu Saga. We're comparing a GT Goku at the beginning that has trained for 15 years. And we know how strong Goku and Vegeta and Saiyans can get during those 15 years, especially after fighting certain individuals. Most times in Dragon Ball, from what we've seen, they get stronger than their previous enemies by within a 1 year time. So after they fight them, they usually are way stronger. Even the same thing as we've seen with Cell, where even if it was filler arc, Goku went to the underworld shortly after and was ready to take on a perfect, super perfect Cell, which he fights someone who pretty much one-shot Cell, which is Pycon, and this is just shortly after. So just imagine a Goku who has 15 years of training and who's training intensely because he wants a rematch against Kid Buu, knowing he's been reincarnated and ready to have that same battle against him. And even with Goku in his base form after 10 years, who's going against, and he's not going all out. He's toying with Oob, because Oob is nowhere near even his full potential of all the power that he has. So we kind of got an idea of Goku is way much more powerful. So now, ultimately, do I think a base Goku is stronger than Super Vegito? No. I don't think base Goku as an adult at the beginning of GT is stronger than Vegito. He's definitely close in power to Super Vegito, but we don't know what is Super Vegito's full extent of his power. But just comparing Kid Goku going against Wildo and him pretty much giving, he's not having any trouble with Wildo really like that, especially him going Super Saiyan as a kid and defeating Wildo with ease, and he's comparing him to Buu. So now, like I said, we got Super Vegito, where Super Vegito didn't try hard at all in this fight. So it could be an idea where base Goku is pretty much almost close to the power of Super Vegito. Now, if Goku was to turn to Super Saiyan, that may be a different story. And maybe even Super Saiyan 2. So that's one thing I would say when it comes down to him fighting, Super Vegito. And now the second take is, if we're talking about Goku as an adult at the end of GT, then he would definitely clear, Super Vegito with ease. That's not even a question, because like I said, at this point Goku became some type of godlike figure. We don't know what kind of training, what kind of thing he had, the level of power that he had. Him even tanking Omega Shenron at this point shows clearly that he's at a different scale and a different level. So that's not even a close matchup. So get in the comments, tell us, what do you think? Do you think Super Vegito Buu Saga is stronger than base Goku adult in GT? Or do you think GT Goku takes the win as an adult? Now, I did say there was a third hypothetical of if Goku was nerfed as a child, and that could play a factor. And ultimately, I feel like GT Goku will probably be equal to Super Vegito in his base as an adult.